Because some people will do a one and done test. They'll do a potability test, and then they'll live there for 20 years, and they'll go, my water's potable. Yeah. But I think it's important to maybe illuminate that there should be possibly some more testing to be done to really guarantee that the water is what you think it is.
They say that you need a potability test.
Yes.
What's the definition of potability? Drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's a pretty low standard by the government.
What's the minimum that they require then? Well, that's the bacteria test. So if I get a bacteria test, does that tell me it's drinkable?
Technically, it's by the government standards, yes.
They say it's potable. They say it's drinkable.
Potable, yeah.
But you haven't tested for everything.
Right.
So
this is where things like arsenic don't get picked up.
Correct.
And it's not good to drink arsenic.
Arsenic, uranium.
Right. These are things that can just slowly erode the body. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to get into this conversation here today. Grant and I have known each other for quite some time behind the scenes. At first, it was because of our business relationship, but quickly found that we have some things in common that we've indulged together, and a lot of that has been running. So for anybody who doesn't know, Grant is the owner of Aztech Labs, which is a water testing company. We're going to be getting into the importance of some of that stuff. But also, he's a father. He's a husband. He's a phenomenal athlete. There was a book published about his baseball team recently. And marathon runner. Him and I have ran some marathons together. And I'm just really excited to get into some conversation here today because I think there's some cool stuff to be said here. So, Grant, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. No problem. It's an honor to be interviewed by the leader of the wolf pack.
Well, I would be the local leader, and then we have some other like global leaders, like Mike Sherrard and Connor are the creators of the wolf pack. So technically, right? Grant, there's over 3,000 wolf pack. There's over 3,000 wolf pack agents globally. Jeez. We here in New Brunswick have 23, like I was saying earlier, which is actually pretty wild because the 23 agents that we have here represent over 10% of the EXP Realty agents in New Brunswick.
I'm just looking at this mug, and it's reminding me of Middle Earth. Are you guys taking over Middle Earth?
We're taking over Middle Earth, absolutely. But we're doing it from the good side. We're not the Saruman side.
Right. You don't have the white handprint on your head.
Exactly.
Orcs.
Exactly. That's a phenomenal movie. It's one of my favorite movies, actually. I think it's one of the greatest movies created.
If you can sit through it, and yeah, because there's some slow parts.
Oh, there's definitely some slow parts. Yeah, like for the people that don't like the slow parts, I would just say like if you cut out Frodo and Sam's journey and just watch everything in between,
yeah,
then you get a pretty action-packed movie. But I think it's Lord of the Rings is just a phenomenal film. I've watched a lot on it, and they talk about how during that time, they had just enough CGI to play around with, but they still needed to use so many real effects.
Right.
That, like, the way that they made that movie would make no sense in today's economy and reality. Like, the fact of people even thinking about remaking it is so preposterous because there was so much effort that went into, like, all the live action shots and the modeling and like the way that they built the cities and stuff. I'm geeked right out on Lord of the Rings, which is why we end up getting that mug.
Yeah.
Which, for anybody listening to the podcast, because it's now audio as well, Grant's holding one of my favorite mugs, and it says "My Precious," and it's got Gollum with an orange mug, and his eyes are all lit up, holding the coffee.
It's beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Grant, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Okay. You just got back from a run?
I just got back from a run this morning.
How far did you run today?
That was just 6.5 kilometers, but it was
just 6.5 kilometers to start the day off.
Yeah, it was a train and run, with a specific goal of 17 minutes at a specific speed.
Yeah,
with a warm up and a cool down.
Yeah. You are fast, man. You have
Well, yeah, I
you
mean,
have the limbs for it. You have the long limbs.
Yeah, but I've been doing it since I quit hockey, 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
And because, we all have a competitive spirit or some, and if you don't, well, it's good to have it.
Right. Absolutely.
And keep it going if you do have it.
Right. Feeding the fire.
Well, I mean, I grew up playing sports. I was, your standard hockey player in the 70s and 80s. It's, my teens in high school. And it was nothing but hockey, right?
What'd you play in hockey?
What did I play?
Yeah.
Well, I was forward and defense.
Forward and defense, okay.
And then
what was your favorite position that you played? Or did you have a preference, just as long as you could hit people?
Hitting was great. I guess it depends on, it'd be more like what was my favorite year?
Gotcha.
Or what was my favorite team?
Okay. What was your favorite team?
One of my favorite teams, well, I mean, all the provincial teams I played on were favorites.
Okay.
Because they had, when you're a kid, they had status.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, but one of my favorite teams was senior hockey. I played 1 year in Summerside.
Gotcha, yeah. Summerside's cool.
I walked on.
Small little town.
Yeah, but they filled the rink every night.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, there's not much to do there.
Well, fish, go fishing.
Yeah, especially, what time of year would that have been? Because Summerside shuts right down in the winter.
Well, I was going to school, so it was September to May.
Yeah, okay. So that's the slow season in Summerside.
It was slow, yeah.
I lived in Summerside for 9 months.
Did you?
Yep. Going to commercial diving college there.
Well, see, I went to Holland College.
I went to Holland College, but in Summerside.
So did I.
Okay, you went to the Summerside one.
Yeah.
Did they have the Marine Training Center there at the same time?
I took fisheries technology.
Okay, geez.
I don't know, but I didn't hear about marine training per se.
Yeah, it was like the Marine Training Center. Yeah, so they did. So we had the commercial diving course there. There was also people like learning, I think, like their captain's course and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was there in '89.
I was pretty young when that happened. Yeah.
Were you even born?
Nope.
Listen, son.
Got some things to teach you. Yeah, what was it like back then? What was Summerside like then? I got arrested my first weekend going out in Summerside.
Yeah, Summerside
what a great way to start the podcast.
Summerside was good. I mean, there was a nightlife, with Legends Bar and a couple other bars. And when you played senior hockey, you know.
Yeah, there's only a couple bars in Summerside,
yes.
Right? Like there was only a couple options.
Yeah.
That everybody would pour into.
You just make the rounds.
Yeah.
From bar to bar kind of thing and check it out.
I'm thinking.
But hockey was serious. I mean, it was senior hockey, so it was ex-junior, ex-university, and people that just wanted to play like me that thought they were something. We're all legends in our own mind, right?
Yeah.
And I just happened to be good enough to make the fourth line, and next thing you know, some games you're starting, but other games you're not.
Talk about how hockey was different back then, because you said like hockey, it like had a meaning, like it was a status symbol almost then, right? Like it was. Yeah.
Hockey.
How's it different now from what you're seeing now?
Honestly, I think hockey now is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Because of the cost, that's huge.
Yeah.
The facilities are not available.
Was it always expensive?
I don't think so. I mean, I can remember my parents complaining that $200 for your
like registry or whatever,
for your registration. Yes, sorry, I was going to say membership.
Yeah.
For your registration was ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of money back then too.
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure like it's probably triple that now?
Yeah, I feel like the gear and stuff's more expensive.
I don't know.
I feel like there's like even more gear, and I mean, Like, you guys didn't even have to wear helmets, did you? Did you guys have to wear helmets?
We didn't need them. No. We had Cro-Magnon skull.
Yeah.
It was so long ago.
Yeah. No, well, right. Like you guys were just carving like branches out of sticks kind of deal, right?
We had to make our own. We had to make our own hockey sticks.
Right. Like, and the puck was just
With
like
flint.
some chewed bubble gum that
With
was like
flint.
stuck together kind of deal.
Yeah. we had to carve our stick with a piece of flint.
Nice.
Yeah.
No,
So
but the
I
gear's
was-
definitely different, though. I mean, the gears change too, right? Like,
I still have a pair of skates I bought 15 years ago, and they've never been worn because of the quality.
right.
And
Which
I only
last, you mean, right?
And I paid $200 for those skates, and I'm telling you, if they were sold in 1982 when I was in high school, they would have been top of the line. Like, they would have been past top of the line based on the quality of the skates back then.
Right.
When it comes to, how stiff are they and how much support they give you.
Yeah.
But I was going to Holland College to take fisheries technology,
Okay.
which was something. So I had graduated from Acadia. Went to work, strangely enough, for NBTEL back when it was NBTEL.
Okay.
As a lineman, because I knew somebody.
You went to work as a.
I was
working as a lineman.
I was a lineman in '88
For how long?
for about a year.
Interesting. Okay. So then you got good. It's called gaffs, right?
I had gaffs, yeah.
Climbing up the poles.
Climbing up a
yeah.
pole
I know
with
quite a
gaffs.
bit of linemen just from my experience in the military being in communications because we worked side by
Gaffs.
side with the linemen.
You know it, gaffs in a belt.
Yeah. Actually, there was a point where our trade diverges and you can continue down the radio operator route or you can go into the linemen. And a lot of my really good friends went linemen and they're still doing it today, actually. I have a buddy, Nick Dow, he just got back from Jamaica. He was over there fixing up a lot of their lines after the storm. He'll travel all over anytime
Right.
there's big storms like that and go back in and rebuild the infrastructure
It's a
over there.
fantastic job because it's
always in demand.
Everything's-
Seems like.
yeah, and you can see you've accomplished something once you've done.
Yeah.
You've put the pole up, you've put the lines up.
Yeah. Like
And,
very, very gratifying because it's like
and you're
actually
and-
bringing a service that people need instantly back to their lives.
Sure. You're
Like-
helping out.
Yeah. We don't realize how convenient we have it until power goes out. As soon as power goes out, everything stops. The food in the fridge, like if the power's out for 5 days, like your food's going to start going bad. Like it's like so many things go downhill quick. The showering, bathrooms, all that stuff. You just take it all for granted. And as soon as power goes out, you're going, oh, gee, even heat.
Yeah. and so that brings. I know we're going off on all these tangents.
Yeah.
But, however, I got to bring this up. We live in a great place, Quispamsis, Rossay Valley area, the Ken Valley area.
It just got rated as one of the most livable cities in all of Canada.
But I don't understand. We're all well educated, and when there's a storm coming, what happens?
I lose power every time.
There's a chance we're going to lose power.
Yeah.
At the very least, there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
And if there's a snowstorm coming, what happens? People flock to the grocery store.
Buy toilet paper.
No, they buy food. They buy everything they can. They empty the shelves.
Yep.
They bring it home.
Yep.
For the power to go out.
And it's spoiled.
And everything spoils.
Right.
I don't understand it.
I know.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Right. What are you prepping? Like it's always going to be at the store.
We live in a society where if there's an issue, we circle the wagons and we get together. We have groups of people that are linemen that go out and fix things up. Mm-hmm. How long are you going to be without food? How long are you going to be without power?
Yeah.
How long?
It's normally not
make
longer than
sense to me.
48 hours. Like 48 hours would be like a long recovery time.
So why are you emptying the shelves at Superstore?
Yeah.
I know.
we had
Just a head scratcher for me.
It is a head scratcher, actually. Well, so the last storm we had, if you look in the backyard, and I'll show you when you go to leave, a telephone transformer, or like one of the poles in the transformers back there, a tree must have just hit it a certain way, and it just sparked. I was in the kitchen talking with a buddy of mine, and we seen this big flash, and then the power. And here's the frustrating thing: is this road has two different power grids, so the other side of the road is on a completely different grid than we're on, and they always have power on the other side of the road, and we're always losing power. So power will go down on one side of the road, and we're looking at our neighbors sitting there with, the heat going, TV on, everything, and it's just...
They're looking out the window going, sucks to be him.
And I'm like, no way, not again. So anyway, the last storm we had, we were out for about almost a day and a half, almost 2 days before they fixed, because there was like 4 or 5 different trees down all along the same line. That was a windy storm we had there, but yeah, anyway, yeah. So we had a generator for a little while, but we kept taking it back because we'd buy it for the storm. The power wouldn't go out, and we'd sit on this generator for like 9 months, and it was still in the box. It was just a coffee table pretty well upstairs for the longest time. We were just setting stuff on it. I'm going, let's take this thing back. As soon as we take it back, that's when the next storm starts to come. And we did that 3 or 4 times, but we've never really fully needed it. And like,
well, if you want it to rain, just go wash your car.
You know what?
Same thing.
So the neighbors got the Generact, and that seems like a good idea.
If you if you don't want any storms this winter, just go buy a generator.
Exactly, and then it won't happen.
Go buy a snowblower.
Right, and then it won't snow. Yep.
Yeah. That's what happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
But if you take it back,
that's when it snows.
3 days later, you need it.
That's when it snows. Yeah, why is that?
Planning for the future is and saving for the future is a crapshoot.
Yeah,
but
especially when you're basing it on the past. When you're going, okay, here's what's happened in the past.
I saved some gyprock.
Yeah,
threw it in my garage, and I finally got to use it 17 years later.
Were you pumped that you saved it? Were you like, I've been waiting 17 years to use this gyprock. Was it even good anymore?
I have this issue. I accidentally put a hole in the wall from moving a couch. Yeah. And it lost my balance. Bang. Yeah. And
that's what I say. Every time I punch a hole in the wall too.
Yeah. It was a couch. It was a couch. Yeah, it was a couch, honey. I slipped. So, but I realized, wait a minute. I saved a piece that'll fit that area.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice. That's why I like hanging on to things too, because you just never know.
I saved $5.95.
After 17 years.
Yeah, after 17 years, $5.95.
Well, there you go.
Worth
that's how you get rich right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key to wealth building success. Grant, what made you start Aztech Labs? Let's get onto that for a second, because I am curious. I want to dive into the business aspect of it.
This is all related to Holland College in Summerside.
Gotcha. All right, let's. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we're back on track.
I graduated from Acadia.
Okay.
And I look around, and all my friends who went to NBCC all had jobs.
Yeah.
I had a big bill from going to school.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, crap. Then I magically got a phone call. I'd been playing baseball for the Moncton Mets at the time, and one of the fans worked for NBTEL, and he was a manager. He says, and we got along because I talked to him after the games and stuff. Anyway, he calls me up one time and says, Grant, you working? You graduate? I said, yeah. I graduated. I'm not working. He says, you want a job? I said, you work for NBTEL. How can you offer me a job? He said, don't worry about it. So I went 3 weeks training to be a lineman. Mm-hmm. Got the job. And after 6 months, I got transferred to Fredericton. And after my 6 months, or close to my 6 month stint there, I asked the boss, I said, where's the full-time job? Because I've passed all my probation kind of thing. Yeah, we're not hiring, blah, 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 yada, yada. Okay, fine, see you later. So I went back home, looked around. Yeah, all my friends, they all got full-time jobs. What am I going to do? They all went to NBCC, and they got a practical course, whereas I went to Acadia and got head knowledge and knowledge, but nothing practical to go with it. So I looked around, and Holland College was offering fisheries technology. Well, I had graduated with a Bachelor of Science. Mm-hmm. And this is why I was questioning, why is my buddy calling me to go work for MBTEL?
Right, yeah, right.
Anyway, he just needed a body. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I'm going to have to get something practical. So I went to Holland College to take fisheries technology, which taught you quality control from the time you pick what kind of equipment to catch the fish to the time it lands on the table in front of the customer.
Okay.
So in that quality control, part of that quality control is lab testing of the fish.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And in essence, food products and water.
Okay.
So while I was taking that course, I got offered a job, followed the money, came to St. John to work for a private company, international company called SGS, and that's how I got started.
Interesting. So it started off with the fisheries technology, and on that course, a portion of it is testing the animals, but also testing the water that the fish are in for any probably disease and stuff along those lines for the quality control. And that's what ended up sparking the connection with Aztech on the water testing.
Well, that's
in a way.
Yes.
That's where the dots are connecting. Because I was like, where is this going?
Absolutely.
I wasn't fully understanding until you started to say that. Yeah, okay, so I'm just connecting the dots here myself. Is that ever interesting? Okay. So then you went from the quality testing, which I'm thinking like that's great for people like at Cooks, right? That's like a dream course for people at Cooks. Cook aquaculture.
Right.
Right. So I feel like, that program.
There is an actual aquaculture course I could have taken at the same time.
Yeah, and I feel like that program is probably like, Cooks is probably like got their eye on people coming out of there because they're like, that's who we want in our
Cooks would
field.
look for somebody graduating from Holland College that took the aquaculture course and or the fisheries technology course.
Yeah.
They need both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have a buddy who's he's been a diver going down in the nets at Cooks, and what he does is he takes out any of the fish that die in the nets while they're farming the salmon, I believe.
Right.
And because they'll farm them in these certain nets, right? And then the ones that are sick or whatever and that drop, he goes down there and he'd take them out and
do they drop or do they float?
Well, I don't know what happens. I don't know. I just know he has to go down there and wrestle seals to get salmon. He's down there wrestling with the seals or whatever.
Sea dogs.
Shout out to Riley Walker.
Sea dogs.
Sea dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's still doing that or not, but he was doing that for a little while. Yeah. And anyway, okay, so then that connected the dots over to the water testing. So then how long have you been doing Aztech and the water testing?
So I get so many questions from Holland College. I got a job offer to work for SGS Canada.
Yeah.
I worked there for 6.5 years testing water.
Okay.
Because they had already established themselves as a lab in St. John where realtors were dropping off water samples to test.
Gotcha.
Okay. And they offered me the position of head microbiologist, so I said, sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Head microbiologist.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Senior microbiologist.
Senior, okay. Sounds like a white lab coat kind of job.
It was lab. It's all that.
Okay.
Yeah. Worked there 6.5 years. Got laid off.
Okay.
Thought, this is ridiculous. First of all, I need to work.
Yep.
Secondly, I know where the work is. Why am I going to go knock on doors when I know where the work is? So I called up all the customers, said, hey, if you like my work, here's my new number. Here's my new name. Boom. And just carried on.
Yes, sir. I love that. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Why did you name it Aztech?
Well, so I needed a name, and I'm like, blah, 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 throwing all these ideas around, and nothing was sticking. And even I'm sitting in front of the lawyer to register my company as an incorporation. Mm-hmm. And he says, so what name are you going to use? So I'm like, oh, jeez.
I know. As soon as you have to name something, it's weird.
The only thing I can think of, well, I'm a technician. I'm doing scientific, technical work, and the list of minerals and metals and bacteria go from A to Z.
Okay.
So you got, and I didn't want to go.
The list of
I didn't want to say. I didn't want to sound like.
Z.
I didn't want to sound like A to Z Rentals,
Right.
which were on Rossay Avenue at the time.
Right.
So
A to Z.
I wanted to sound more technical. So I went Aztech.
Right. And
I
Aztec also has like another meaning as well, like the Aztecs.
But that does not have the H on the end, as in technician.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
So I thought I was being real slick.
That is slick.
It probably would have been better maybe with a hyphen between the A, Z, and the T.
Well,
I don't know. Would it have made me a millionaire? I don't know.
no, I don't think. I think people build the name. I honestly think you can name something anything. Like, what does Sobeys mean?
Nobody cares.
It's just someone's last name.
It's actually somebody's last name.
Yeah, it's just someone's last name. Like Walmart, like all these things. Walmart's got a little bit of a mart. It's like, okay, so it's like a market or whatever. But like there's, I think there's a certain brilliance to naming as well for branding, but I also think that you can pretty well name something anything. And if you have a good product and a good service and a good reputation, you can build it up from there.
Right.
And then, so Aztecs, okay. So then you went from the microbiology, and then you were like, I'm gonna start doing this. Something I wanted to talk about is like the importance of water testing. So you and I have talked about this before, and it's something that I learn more and more about the longer I'm in real estate, because then, you're doing lots of water tests and you run into different scenarios with different wells and things along those lines. We have a lot of wells in New Brunswick, right? We have a lot of wells. So there's people that are on municipal or on wells. So the municipal is run by the city. The city does its own filtration process. They have their own process. What you deal with is majority the water testing of wells, right?
True.
So then with wells, what are some things that I think, like, even if there's people watching, let's say from Ontario, because wells are common for somebody who grew up with wells, but a lot of people don't fully understand them. And I know people who've grown up with wells that don't actually even understand how they work or how often they should be tested. And something that I've tried to really push to people that I know is like, get your well tested often, especially if you don't have the UV light system on there. I want to kind of go down that road a little bit of the importance of testing your wells, what can be in the well, how wells change day to day, all that.
Yeah. So a well is just a hole in the ground.
Okay.
And as my best buddy always says to me, whenever I said, well, he just looks at me and goes, "There's 3 holes in the ground." Anyway.
That's 3 holes in the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well. 3 holes in the ground.
And
so
what's interesting too is, like, even in a subdivision like this, every well could be tapped into a different water vein, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely.
It's quite dynamic when you actually think about how complex it is, because it seems like something, like you're saying, it's just a hole in the ground, and it is, but it seems like something that's also much more complex as well.
In the sense that, if you're talking about where the veins run, they're all over and they're unpredictable.
Right.
You can have a well serving your camp that you dug 5 feet down into the ground, put in a culvert of some sort, and the next thing you know, it's full of water. You stick a little pump in there and you run it down to your house, or you siphon it off with a hose, and it's gravity feeds your camp.
Okay, yeah.
You can have, and that's just a hand dug well that's being fed by a spring, which is basically a vein at the top of the surface of the ground, right?
Yeah.
Then you got other places where they've gone down 60 feet and they've got 3 gallons of water coming out the top.
Right. Yeah.
Then you got other places.
So that's an artesian well, then, there, right?
No. Well, I mean, yes. If it's overflowing the casing and coming out the side, and and you got to have some of the water run off so it doesn't continue on in that fashion. Like you have to control the overflow.
Yeah.
That would be an artesian well, yes.
Okay.
And then you've got other places that go down 600 feet.
Yeah.
And they've got, they finally hit a 1.5 gallon return or recovery rate. So with the 600 feet of reservoir, once that fills up, they're good to go.
Right.
You know, there's
it's
all
not
kinds
cheap
of
to
wells
dig
out
wells
there.
either. It is
I
not.
don't know how much it costs.
I know it's not cheap.
I'm guessing. You know,
And they charge by the foot.
I'm guessing 150 to 200 foot well would be anywhere from 15,000 to 24.
Yeah.
In that range.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the range game from The Price is Right. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So
right
so the wells can be unpredictable, the water lines, and then something that I think I learned from you, and you said this, it was pretty well that you could test, a well every single day of the year and probably have a different result on the reading of the bacteria content,
Yes.
on the chemicals. And why is that? Is that because wells collect just sediment from everything around them?
Because water picks up whatever it passes through.
Right. Okay.
Water is considered the universal dissolvent. So if it's passing through soil with arsenic, there's going to be some arsenic in the water.
Right.
If it's passing through soil with high iron, there's going to be iron in your water.
Right.
When it gets to your well.
Right.
Or if that's the type of soil that you've drilled down through in order to create your well. Mm-hmm. But as far as how much is it changing and how fast is it changing? Bacteria are organisms which have cycles depending on the environment. So you've got temperature, food supply, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which causes their populations to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So right now, if I was to test your water and it failed in the summer, it has failed in the summer.
Yes.
For example, hypothetically.
Yeah.
And I test it now, there's a good chance it passes today. Because the water feeding it, all the surface water that normally carries the bacteria is frozen.
It's frozen, exactly. Okay, right.
So it's not being fed by such a highly contaminated source.
Right.
Of water.
The surface water being frozen, almost being a barrier to just have the water that's going through the veins at this point, more or less. So there's no contaminants from the top, but it's all just flowing water underneath the soil.
It's being serviced by water that's deeper.
Okay.
That's been filtered.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to bacteria, so when I say your well is just a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do with the well is keep the surface water out and tap into the water that's down deep. Mm-hmm. The reason is surface water carries bacteria. This plant, when it decays and decomposes, produces coliform bacteria.
Right.
Coliform bacteria are part of the decomposition process.
Okay. That's what coliform is from. So it can just be from dying plants.
Right.
Like rotting wood.
And rotting animals and waste, human and animal waste.
Okay.
What I was getting at is the total coliform count covers coliforms, which are from plants, but it also includes E. coli, which is directly related to waste. So where's that? That's on the surface.
Right.
So you're trying to keep that water out with a long tube, and then down in the bottom through hydrostatic pressure, because there's a hole there. The pressure pushes whatever water's in the soil into your well.
Right. Okay.
Besides being serviced by whatever veins it's already hit, because there might be little rivulets,
Yeah.
trickles of water underground.
Oh. Okay. So then, the E. coli is a subcategory of coliforms? Is that right? Am I understanding that properly?
It's a smaller group of bacteria within the
coliforms
group
world.
of bacteria that's called total coliform.
Okay, cool. So then I've had this conversation with a couple people and they've asked, like, is E. coli, is that only like waste, like human waste? Is that just shit?
Human and animal waste from mammals, warm-blooded mammals.
Okay. But then coliforms can be anything that's decomposing, like just any type of biological matter.
Right. You can get a result of a failing result because it fails because it has only coliform in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give you a failure and it's got one E. coli in it, well, then what I have to report it as is one total coliform because there's an E. coli. Mm-hmm. But then I also have to report it as one E. coli.
Okay.
If I have 10 E. coli, but I also see some other bacteria that still display the total coliform characteristics, then I have to include both numbers in my total count, my total coliform count.
Yeah.
And then I got to separate the E. coli out and say, and of those, this many were E. coli.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And you do that through water samples that are dropped off to your lab.
Correct.
And they have to sit, and then that's when you analyze them. So I think what happens is it has to sit for a certain amount of time, and then you analyze it afterwards. Is that what it is? Because the bacteria need some time to grow for you to see it, or
correct.
Yeah.
So the testing process, first of all, you can't. I don't test water samples that are older than 24 hours.
Right.
So if you collect a sample today, at the latest, you can drop it off tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Within a 24-hour window. Yeah.
So when you're within that window, I'll grab the sample, throw it in the fridge until the end of the day, when I collect all my samples for the day and run them at night.
Okay.
And it's just more efficient that way, but.
What's the 24-hour reason on it? Is it just
because the bacteria are living organisms and their numbers will fluctuate?
Yeah.
And the closer you so testing a well is just a snapshot of what's in that water at that particular time and in that particular sample.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You want to stay as close to that snapshot, those parameters of Monday at 11:30, this is what we found. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Through experience, people that are smarter than me have decided that 24 hours is a window where you're not going to see much of a variation from those original numbers.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're going to be closer, more accurate.
Yeah. And you and I have discussed before how samples can be thrown off simply by if you're running the water sample from, let's say, the main faucet in the house and you don't take the screen off that faucet, there can be almost like residue built up in the screen that's on the faucet. So if you remove that, you have to sterilize then the faucet so that you're taking out any possibility of a contamination on that faucet. And then even at that point, so you have your sample bottle, which is empty, and it's closed at this time, you want to leave it closed, and you only want to open it for a brief second while you're catching that sample, but you want to let the water run, so you're flushing the well out as well. So there's quite a process when it comes to actually trying to grab a legit sample for it to be tested as well. And when I first started selling real estate, it was mind blowing to me how these small things can actually throw off the readings. Even if you take the cap off, and let's say like you accidentally breathed into the bottle, that could cause contaminants, right? That could cause a misreading.
It's possible. Now, personally, if you're breathing into a bottle and it's contaminating it with coliform, just saying.
Just saying, right. Yeah, I suppose.
But you're right. There are many, you got to handle it properly. You got to sample it properly. And those instructions are all on my forms.
Yes.
On my chain of custody forms. Mm-hmm. Because there has to be a chain of custody. Who took the sample, when they took it, mm-hmm. where it came from. Mm-hmm. So that when we receive it, we can go, that's not within the parameters of testing.
Right.
Or it's just not acceptable, or it is acceptable.
Right. And then there's two different types of tests that you run. There's the bacteria test. So it's the potability test.
Excuse me. Yes, we offer the potability test, which covers the coliform and E. coli.
Yeah.
And we also offer some further testing for minerals and metals.
For minerals and metals, right. And that one there takes about 7 days to get a response?
It takes about 8 to 10 business days.
8 to 10 business days,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, because there's a prep procedure, and there's we farm it out to a larger lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, simply because it's more efficient that way for everybody involved.
Yep.
But when it comes, that kind of reminds me of minerals and metals. You had mentioned earlier that there can be a wide variation of the bacteria and the minerals and metals depending on when you are testing your water.
Right.
That is true, and it is not true.
Okay.
So, specifically, bacteria, yes, they do fluctuate quite a bit. If you have a well, let's go with a hand dug well that you can. Okay, that's
some old school stuff.
That is susceptible to wide fluctuation, right. Simply because it's at the surface and it's exposed to the elements.
Yes. Yeah.
A drilled well is what's typically what is considered acceptable nowadays for a property.
Yeah.
Because it is less susceptible to surface water contamination.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're going to get less fluctuation in those numbers. But you're still going to get fluctuation if it's if it's got any kind of crack in the integrity.
Yes, which
of
actually
the well.
we ran into that recently. Yeah,
you're going to see you're going to see fluctuations. Yeah. So these variations can be due to natural occurrence or problems developed with the integrity of the well. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So the bacteria can fluctuate a lot. Minerals, less likely.
Okay.
And that's reflected in the recommended testing schedule provided by the province. They say test your bacteria every 6 months or twice a year.
Okay. That's the recommended.
Testing. Okay. And that's to establish a baseline of results so that you can go, yeah, my well's good or my well's not good. Okay?
Is that only for people that have a well that doesn't have a UV light? If you have a UV light system, is it still recommended to test it?
Well, personally, I would say that if you have a UV light, you're less likely to have contaminated or be drinking contaminated water.
Right.
It doesn't change what's coming in.
It doesn't change the minerals.
It doesn't change what's feeding your well. It changes what you're drinking because you're treating the water.
Right. Got you. Yeah. And the UV lights are only to kill bacteria, as far as I understand, right? So that's going to kill the bacteria side of things. But technically, somebody could have a UV light, but they could still have arsenic in their water.
Sure.
That they're still drinking.
Sure.
And that UV light isn't filtering out the arsenic, right? So then that's where like things like a reverse osmosis filter then comes in as well.
Correct.
To remove, let's say, arsenic, which some wells, unfortunately, are prone to have arsenic in certain areas around New Brunswick too, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to minerals and metals testing, the government recommends every 3 to 5 years for that.
Okay. So
Because
a wider spread.
because once you test it, if your iron level is let's say 300 parts per million, or 300 parts per billion, doesn't matter. In 2 years, it's probably going to be relatively close.
Right. That makes sense, Kat.
But
because the elements in the ground aren't changing that often,
but because
right?
we can't see what's going on underground,
yeah,
you still should get it tested sometime in the future. So people that are smarter than me said every 3 to 5 years.
Gotcha. So here's something that I found kind of mind-blowing was the standard of potability while still being able to have some strong contaminations in the water. So people will do a potability test.
I never understood that myself. I know what you're getting at.
Right. So it's like, so there's a standard of what's called potable water. And I know some people who have been like, my water's potable. I've been drinking it I remember this specific incident, and I was testing the water for some buyers. This was like my first or second year in real estate. Now I send you out, but I used to try to do it myself just to save a buck when you're starting off, right? And so anyway, I was testing it for some buyers out on the Kingston Peninsula, and I remember going to this lad's house and testing his water, and he goes, "I've been drinking this for 25 years. There's nothing wrong with this water." And this guy had like 4 teeth in his head.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh geez, there could be something up with the water. And he had what was in it? I think there was some arsenic, I believe, or there was something. There was a high level of E. coli. There was something in there that I was just like, ugh, he was drinking something bad for years.
Yeah.
No filtration system on it.
Yeah.
Because some people will do a one and done test. They'll do a potability test, and then they'll live there for 20 years, and they'll go, my water's potable.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to maybe illuminate that there should be possibly some more testing to be done to really guarantee that the water is what you think it is.
Yeah. I've seen that and heard that before.
Right.
So being a smartass sometimes, like I am, I'll be grabbing a water sample for them and they'll say, "You won't find anything wrong with that water. I've been drinking it for 25 years.
Right.
And I'll look at them, and because of my experience, now I just look at them and say, don't jinx it.
Right.
You've most likely jinxed it at this point because you've said that.
Yeah. Yep.
But don't do that. And it's strange because everybody that says to me, I'm never going to find a problem.
That's the ones you find.
I'll have one failure out of 10 today. It's theirs.
Yeah. Well, it's like the clients that come to me and say, I'm going to be an easy client to deal with. That's an immediate red flag because they're the ones that are never easy clients to deal with. Easy clients don't say that.
Yeah.
People that say, I'm going to be easy to deal with, automatically, why are they projecting that onto me?
Realtors will say, oh, don't worry, they're good for the money. I'm still looking to get paid.
Yeah.
6 months later.
Yeah.
For a water test.
I've just built it into my own cost at this point to run the water tests.
So we're getting off track.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the difference between potability and like just how people will have a potable test done. They go, my water's potable, but that isn't the end all be all. No, and how there could be more to this story than people understand.
I don't understand our government because they
Thank you. This is where I want to get to.
They say that you need a potability test.
Yes.
What's the definition of potability? Drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's a pretty low standard by the government.
What's the minimum that they require then? Well, that's the bacteria test. So if I get a bacteria test, does that tell me it's drinkable?
Technically,
It's
by the government standards, yes.
They
but by
say it's potable. They say it's drinkable.
potable, yeah.
But you haven't tested for everything.
Right.
Because...
So this is where things like arsenic don't get picked up.
Correct.
And it's not good to drink arsenic.
Arsenic, uranium.
Right. These are things that can just slowly erode the body.
Yeah. The only thing I can do, knowing that there's more than just bacteria that can harm you, is offer further testing. That's it. And I don't twist arms. I just say, well, you can get this other test. It's a lot more money, but my recommendation is if you're buying a house and you're only going to test the water once, because most people do only test it once.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about.
Spend the money. Now you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah. So it seems to me like one of the best practices, if you have a well, is even if you have a good water test when you're buying it, that's perfect. But you should test it again, and if it ever comes back as having any bacteria in it, like I think the best practice is probably get a UV light system installed, right? Get something installed right off the bat that's a automatic shield for, like, because what we're talking about, I know we're just talking about water here, but this is pretty important stuff, especially if somebody's consuming the majority of the water they're drinking day to day is from their tap. This is humans' life sources, so we want to make sure that it's as pure as possible. And that's actually one thing that's nice about having our own wells is we can maintain our well to our own standards, right? But I think it's educating people on how to do that, because I think a lot of people just overlook it. They think it was tested once, it was potable, it's good, but there's more to that story, though.
Yeah.
So what would you say? Like,
so if you've gone and done the bacteria test and you've spent more money and done the mineral scan, and you know that you don't have harmful minerals, you know that you don't need to treat for hard water, iron, or manganese, things that are a nuisance, and now you're left with bacteria, that may be an issue. My recommendation would be check your water on a regular basis, of course.
Yeah.
But if it keeps failing, or if you keep having to shock it with chlorine, and you just can't find a solution just by following, your first remediation step,
would be shocking it. You're saying,
sorry, let me back up. So when it comes to fixing an issue of bacteria, the first thing I would look at is what we talked about earlier. How is it sampled? How is it transported and handled?
Right.
Is there any reason in those areas where that we can see as to why it failed? Once we cross that off the list, then we go to, all right, let's look at shocking the well, because that's first and foremost the typical answer you would get from the province, how to deal with a failure.
Okay.
If it retests and it doesn't pass, your next step would be try it again. Double up your effort by doubling up your bleach, doubling up your contact time in the well. Yeah. Instead of leaving it overnight, leave it for a couple days, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Retest after the chlorine's flushed out, which can take days.
Right. Right.
So you're only doing the well shocking if you got the time when it comes to a real estate deal.
Right, exactly. Normally we're dealing with about a 7 to 10 day window max.
If none of that works, you've got 2 or 3 failures after retesting or repairing or shocking it and reshocking it.
Right.
Your next step could be either have a well driller look at it for something that's physically wrong.
Okay.
Because it could be that the
Could be like a crack in the well casing or something.
The spring thaw, right. Could be anything like that.
Right.
The freezing and thawing of the ground can heave ever so slightly the casing, which could let in surface water.
Yep.
You could have a hole in it. You could have, rust can take hold of your metal casing, and the next thing you get... The next thing you know, you have a hole in the side of your casing.
Yeah.
Let me spit that out.
No, you got it. I'm almost tempted to yell for some more coffee here. Get an espresso.
Espresso?
Yeah. Is Jelaine still here?
I don't know.
Jelaine, are you here?
Yeah, I'm a little empty here.
Yeah, me too.
So...
I don't think she's here. I think she took the dog out.
Oh, could have.
Yeah.
So... well shocking?
Yes. So then the well shocking
is your first step.
Mm-hmm. And then you suggested that if it doesn't...
Your second step could be...
reshock.
Yeah. Your third... Okay, so none of that's successful. All right, let's look at... Is there anything physically wrong with a well? Have a well driller come by and look at it. It's going to cost you.
Right.
In lieu of all that...
Yeah, nothing with wells are cheap.
No.
And I didn't actually realize how complex they are until we had to get some work done. Like they got welders, plumbers, they got the well drilling specialists and the crane, like just all the equipment that they need just to do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
And I'm going, there's a little bit of everybody here. This is not going to be cheap.
The actual
There's a dude welding,
drilling,
there's a dude doing electrical, there's a guy plumbing.
Yeah. You got to know what you're doing.
I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
This is not going to be cheap. And it wasn't.
No.
And it wasn't. I tried to grease the wheels by offering them coffee and tequila, but you guys want a drink?
Yeah. How come you drilled a hole on an angle? Well, he was serving me tequila.
Yeah.
It's slanted.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Why is the well casing going in through the basement?
So let's say you did all that.
Yes. Okay.
The well driller comes in, does some repairs, changes this, does that, and they have a few tricks up their sleeve. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Let's say it doesn't work. Now you're stuck with, it's only bacteria. It's the only thing I got to fix.
Yeah.
UV light.
Yes. UV light.
It works. If
UV
the water,
I think they're highly recommended. Like if anybody's listening and you're on a well, I think it's just almost. I think it's good practice at this point. It's probably just a safe bet. Let's just not have to worry about testing it 2 times a year or whatever.
When it comes to closing a deal, they're great.
Yeah. Well, the sellers never want to install them is the thing. The seller, I find, always wants to do the shocking. They're like, let me just shock it and then you'll get a good read. And the buyer's always like, hey, if it came up bad once, I think there should be a UV light installed because if it read once with bacteria, chances are it's going to have bacteria again at some point.
And they're absolutely right because we don't know. Because guess what? It's just a hole in the ground.
Right. That's the problem. And exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
No, exactly. Right. Exactly. I mean, it's like somebody try to sit here and talk to me about, Brendan, where's the market going? You're a real estate agent. You should know where the market's going. It's like, well, no, as much as I can look at data and understand the past, we can't ever actually know exactly what's going to happen in the future. It's the same thing. We can make educated
but tomorrow
guesses.
The central bank's raising its rates. Oh, crap.
Right. Or something popped off, over in friggin' Iran or whatever, and now there's a whole world issue or something. Like stuff has just been happening like that now that just changes the whole dynamic that nobody can predict.
Right.
And that's been going on, it seems like, for the last 7 years. All of a sudden, the world's just not predictable.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Well, it's... The only predictable thing is you don't know what's going to happen.
The only predictable thing is there's going to be change constantly. That's what I've realized is there's just never going to be a moment of peace almost doesn't exist. This homeostasis state that everybody wants to find of Zen and the world being in a balance. I don't think it's ever existed, and I don't know if it ever will exist. I don't think that's realistic, but
it's not.
No. It's not realistic.
The
Change is the only permanent thing.
you can have a well-educated society, but there's always people being born and coming and going kind of thing.
Right. With new ideas. With new ideas coming and new ideas going. Or sorry, with new ideas coming and old ideas going.
So you got to educate the newbies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do some education. So, okay. So let's try to tie the knot on this. Let's try to tie the knot.
Back to ultraviolet lights.
Yes. Let's try to tie the knot on this.
So if the water coming into and servicing your house meets all the requirements, all the requirements that the manufacturer says are needed, for the UV light to work 100%, they will guarantee it works 100% to kill or sterilize the bacteria passing through.
Yes.
Which will give you a good potable result.
Right. And then, but that potable result can come with a whole other package of minerals and chemicals that could be in it that aren't being
correct.
That aren't being filtered out through the UV light system, which kills the bacteria.
Right.
So I think the important part for people to understand is in your well, there could be bacteria, but then there's also chemicals and minerals. And those are two separate issues to deal with, and they're two separate issues to even test for.
Correct.
So then when it comes to the chemical and mineral side, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
This is where, if I'm not mistaken, things like a water softener come into play. So is there certain signals that people can, like, because I've been inside some people's homes and, they'll have like a stain on their toilet, but it's like from the hard water, and it's in the tub too, where you'll see like a yellow kind of like buildup, almost like a calcium buildup or something.
Yeller.
They all yeller. So
orange.
Orange,
rusty stain.
Right. So these are all chemicals and minerals. Those are all signs of chemicals and minerals
in the water. So if it looks like rust, that's because there's iron there.
Okay, there's iron. Right.
If
now, some minerals are good to drink too, though. A certain amount of minerals are okay in the body, or no?
Yes.
I suppose, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, and then this is I'm kind of going down another tangent, but like if you're just drinking water from like a reverse osmosis, like technically, like that's not the best water to be drinking. Like our water, our body needs a little bit of minerals, some salt, and
it's got everything removed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's almost like drinking like iodized water, isn't it?
Ionized. Yeah.
Ionized. Sorry, I said it wrong. I said iodized.
No.
No, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you take it from here.
I think you meant the word deionized.
Deionized, yes. Yeah. Like I'm thinking of the water they recommend to like run through your engine or whatever when you're doing some work on it or something. Like there's every once in a while I've seen like
like this is the
flush it either out with deionized
reverse
water.
Osmosis water or deionized water is what's recommended for, like, let's say you're mixing up 50-50 antifreeze.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's right on the container.
Yeah.
Use deionized water.
Yeah. But you wouldn't sit there and drink that
because you're not adding unknown amounts of iron, manganese, hard water, blah 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 blah.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So their formulation doesn't change, so it reacts within the engine properly. Yeah.
So this is where water softeners come into play. Is that right?
So,
is this where water softeners would be
So if you have
useful?
all these minerals, so if you get a scan done on your water and it comes back, calcium's high, manganese is high, iron's high, uranium's high, arsenic's high. I've seen that.
Yeah.
There are homes I've seen set up to deal with these issues with bacteria. Because
it's all there.
Yeah. And their basement, one room about the size of this area, is dedicated to water treatment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
No. And there's ongoing maintenance too.
Right.
But now you've got different items or different units to deal with different issues. Arsenic, you can use reverse osmosis. reverse osmosis is just a little unit that sits under your sink and only treats the drinking water, has its own separate spout.
Yeah. Do they always have their own separate spout?
If you have the...
Because everyone I've seen always has its own separate.
If you have what they call a point of use, reverse osmosis.
Yeah. Do most people have that, or do they have the point of entry?
See, there's the difference.
Yeah.
If you have a point of entry, you know, your reverse osmosis system is in your basement in a room like this, and it's much bigger because you're treating you're treating gallons that are being used during the day, not like 70.
And it makes quite a noise too, doesn't it? Those reverse osmosis machines, they make a little
a standard household.
They got a little engine in them or something. Yeah. They're doing something. They make quite a bit of noise, I find.
They work on the pressure of the water.
Okay.
The water pressure coming in. They may make a noise because they have a little pump.
I think that's what I'm hearing in it. Yeah.
It could be in order to compensate for maybe lack of pressure coming in, or you need more pressure going out.
Okay.
Because so reverse osmosis in the basement can take up a much bigger space. You've got softeners to deal with hardness, iron, manganese. You've got...
So the softness deals with what again?
A softener?
Yeah.
Hardness, iron, and manganese.
Hardness, iron, and manganese. Okay. And hardness is just the minerals, right? Is that the minerals pretty well?
No, hardness is...
What is hardness? Like, yeah, so when people say they have hard water, I don't fully, because like water to me is fairly liquid. So like hard water doesn't fully compute.
Yeah. The main component that makes up the hardness in the water is calcium.
Calcium. Okay. So then hard water means it's dense in calcium?
Exactly.
Okay. And that's where you're seeing, you'll often see it like in the bathrooms. You'll see it build up around the faucet and stuff. There's little like white stains almost, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost looks like little salt deposits kind of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then those are all signals that you could have some minerals in your water, and there's different treatments for each of those. And then some water also smells too. Some water's got a smell to it, right?
Oh yeah. You can...
It's got like a sulfur smell almost.
Yes.
And is that sulfur in the water? Is that what makes
it could be.
Have that pungent kind of like, some of it smells like eggs sometimes?
Yeah, could be hydrogen sulfide, could be iron, could be manganese, could be a combination of one, two, or all three.
Yeah.
Okay. So, smell is subjective. I don't like...
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
I've been in homes and people complain to me, "Hey, Grant, what do you think? What do you think we should do about this?" I don't know. Get it tested. Yeah. I can't really smell anything. You're asking the wrong guy.
Right. Yeah. I actually don't have the greatest sense of smell
The only thing I'm really good at is chlorine, because I've...
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can smell that. You're like,
I've been
nope.
trained. I've trained myself since 91 when I started working in the lab to detect chlorine, because there's no sense testing for bacteria if there's any trace of chlorine in the sample.
That makes sense, right?
Because
obviously there's gonna be none.
It'll skew the results.
Yeah.
It'll give you a great result of zero.
Right.
But you can't trust it.
No.
Doesn't mean that there's none there.
Right.
Because it just may have killed them off. Right. So yeah. Oh man.
What's your preference? What do you prefer, wells or municipal water? Like a well-maintained well. I feel like this is a loaded question, but
because of the knowledge I have, I would prefer my own well.
Right.
Because then I'm the master of my own water quality.
Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, growing up, I didn't give a rat's ass what I was drinking from.
No, well, that's just it.
It was the hose, man.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden the hose isn't healthy to drink from.
Oh, of course
not. And the friggin' health pyramid's flipped now. It's all different. Everything we learned is all different. That's another thing I've learned too, is even like the guidance, like any information that we get as like, here's the general guidance, even that's changing constantly. It's like, there's no, I'm only 32 years old, but something I've realized, there is no consistency in life. Nothing is reliable, in my opinion. No. Nothing is reliable because it's like everything is always changing. You can't go, that's the way, this information here, that's certain. Even stuff in history, you learn that's changing. Hey, there's new evidence. New things have been found. We've discovered new things.
Yeah.
That completely change everything that we thought.
The people that are in power make the rules. They also write the history books.
Yeah.
They also push this agenda and not that one. And yeah.
Right.
So,
you know what? Actually, it's very similar. So if we think about how people portray themselves on social media, right? Nobody's showing the parts they don't want to share, right? Nobody's showing the moments of like their like least glamorous time or something, them failing and like breaking down, having a mental breakdown. Most people don't share that stuff. So then you don't get to see that. And if somebody just looks at somebody's, let's say, social media as that person, you'd go, okay, this is everything that we know about that person. But then if somebody really does some digging, you find the stuff that that person didn't want you to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same as like anything in history, right? Like there's certain things they're going, we want to write about this win, about this victory, about this incident. But a lot of times the stuff that doesn't want to be shared doesn't get shared unless it's somehow found another way.
Yeah. There's a lot of fake people out there when it comes to Facebook and all that stuff.
And I think that can actually cause a little bit of like depression and stuff too. I think that's why, people say like they're anxious because they'll look online and they just see this like feed of everybody's successes and like all these great things going on in everybody's life. Well, it's because most people share these great moments, but they're not sharing the times that they're kind of sitting there going, I'm not feeling
some
so
people
good.
have to pump themselves up in order to make themselves feel good about the fact that...
Make themselves feel important.
Yeah. Some people peak in high school, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing too, right? Yeah, like the dynamic of like everybody that you looked at in high school, and you're like, oh, geez, I wish I was more like that person,
right?
Or I was more like that person, and then like most of the kids that end up being like the coolest kids don't have, I don't know, like there's not a ton. I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of them. I don't talk to a lot of people in my high school anymore, unfortunately.
I look back at the people I went to high school with, and the ones that got involved in extramural and were a little bit more outgoing seemed to, for the most part, they're all successful. Yeah. But they were a little bit boisterous, a little bit,
It's like it's like the quiet ones too. The quiet ones in high school are like the most successful too. The ones that just like got the high grades. They just kind of kept their head down. They walked along.
I guess the bottom line is
they're like doctors now. They're doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, you can't. But you just can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you can't either. That's the thing too.
That's huge.
You can't. And then everybody's always having kind of different peaks in life too. That's another thing, right? Some people, like you said, may have peaked in high school and maybe right now they're not in maybe a great spot, but in 10, 15 years, they might change it around. Like everybody's, everybody's kind of got these shining moments throughout their life, and maybe different personality types are going to shine at different moments in life too. And that's why I think it's important to never quit, because you never know when your moment's going to be, right? It's like, don't give up. Just kind of keep swinging for the fences, because eventually you're going to hit that grand slam that everybody's going to talk about, right? And that's going to put you on the highlight reel there for your moment, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like you never want to stop, and sometimes you think about, geez, is it all worth it? But I think you just keep going. What else is there to do?
What else
is there to do other than keep going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could sit at the back of the class and throw spitballs at people and then say he did it.
Yeah, you could do that. I know some people that just kind of go, hey, I'm just going to move out to the woods and just disconnect from it all.
Yeah.
That's almost like a fantasy sometimes.
You'd still need water out there, though.
You still need water. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You still need some wells.
Yeah. If you go on Facebook Reels and stuff and look up homesteading and that sort of thing, there's people out there with fantastic setups for wells.
Yeah,
they're
and
running their well off solar power.
And they'll catch rainwater and then purify that and stuff, and they'll use that for watering their gardens, growing their plants.
I don't know how pure it's going to be as far as
Well, I mean,
pure.
if you caught rainwater and then you ran it through some type of filtration system,
yeah, and then if you're really scared about
boil it.
worried about bacteria, you could boil it. Yeah,
Yeah, just boil it, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, let's tie a bow on that on the water part, I guess. So from your perspective, Grant, of your years of testing water, I guess what would be like your number one recommendation for people at home right now that have a well and haven't thought about it for a while?
Well, follow what the government recommends. Have your water tested a couple times for bacteria a year. If you've never tested it for minerals, absolutely get a scan done that's comparable to what's done on a brand new well. There's a whole I don't know, 35 ish different minerals and metals and general chemistry tests that can be done. Yeah. That are typically done on a new well.
Yeah. And you can go right to people's homes and do this yourself. So if somebody wanted to get their water tested and they're going, well, I don't know who to call. Like
I can, yeah.
You're able, yeah. So like
I
you
offer sampling services, yes.
Yes, sampling services. So if there's anybody, in the Quispamsis St. John area right now going, who does water testing? Because there's not a lot of people that do it. But you're one of the main ones.
Correct. I'm an accredited lab.
Yeah.
Which means my results are considered to be competent and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to quote on government jobs and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And report to the province. You had said something about you can test, and if there's something wrong, you can do what? What I can do is I can point you in the right direction.
Here we go.
Okay?
Yeah.
So because I have this knowledge, and you can go out if you have a problem with your water and you want to treat it, or you want to fix it. You can contact a well driller, contact a water treatment company, and then you can take what they tell you, call me up, bounce the idea off me,
right?
And we're there for you. But
yeah. And that's actually something that's been very beneficial. Anytime there is water tests done, and then it fails, the first phone calls I'll make is to your lab, and between yourself and Anne, you guys will give some very sound advice as here's what I recommend as the next step, right?
Correct. I've tailored my business after towards facilitating your purchase and sales. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I offer is the potability test. You get the results. It's a 24-hour test. We'll have them ready by the end of the next business day.
Yes. Yep.
And sent to whoever needs them. Now, if there's an issue, you can call us anytime. We have advice. It's advice that. Again, I'm not going to say it's hard, fast, set in stone kind of thing, because there's always exceptions to every rule. We were talking earlier about arsenic. Yes. And we had said, you can take it out with reverse osmosis. You can also take it out with a whole house unit that looks and acts just like a softener, but it's got a different media resin in it. Okay. So
right. Yeah.
There's exceptions to all the rules, right?
Gotcha. Sorry, go ahead.
There's more than one way to take out arsenic. There's more than one way to take out iron. You can have a unit that's specifically designed just for iron and manganese and smell, which looks and acts like a softener, but it doesn't use salt. Or you can, depending on your levels of iron, manganese, and hardness, you can just use a softener, and it will actually help the smell issue as well.
Right.
So we can point you in the right direction.
And I think the important message to just really nail home here is for people to realize that they should be testing their wells. And if you've only ever done one water test and you've been living in your home for more than 6 months since that last water test. It's probably worth revisiting. And
It's funny,
right?
Like I said, I go into homes and people are like, "You're not going to find anything wrong with that water."
I hear it all the time. All of the time.
And it's like, well, when did you have it tested last? How do you know?
Right. And,
Well, I had it tested when I moved in.
well, I think the litmus test for most people is I'm drinking it and I'm not dead.
True.
I think
But
that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
they're going, I'm drinking it. I'm still here. It's good.
The people in the Dominican Republic and Haiti and Cuba are all drinking their water and they're not dead from the water. But if you drank it,
Yeah. Right. Right.
you'd be laid up
Right.
in the bathroom for a week
Yeah.
if you survived.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, honestly, it's something that as I came into real estate, I didn't realize and really focus on the importance of it. And then even once I started getting into it more, going, okay, potable water, that's the standard. And then I'm going, well, wait, that's a pretty low bar when we're talking about the standard here.
Yeah.
And then that's why I was like,
Yeah.
I thought it was important to bring you in just to bring some awareness to the fact that potability is only a certain criteria. And like you said, something that you said beautifully before is being the master of your own well, where you can test to see all the minerals and all of the chemicals and find ways to remediate it so that you're drinking some pretty flawless water.
If you're the master of your own water quality, you only got yourself to blame.
Right.
But or praise.
Right.
Because, you got good water. But you got to know what you're dealing with. So you got to test it.
For people outside of New Brunswick that aren't used to wells, how would you explain to somebody going, well, I've never drank from a well before?
Yeah. Yeah. So the only difference between you on a well in the city is that they're testing it and treating it on a regular basis.
Thank you. Okay.
But they're still getting their water from what? A lake? A well?
Right.
A river?
And the way that they treat it could be with some heavy chemicals as well,
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
because you don't know what's in the water.
A lot of chlorine.
They do testing on a regular basis to know what they have to do.
Content, possibly. I've heard that municipal water can have quite high chlorine contents.
Oh yeah.
Legal amounts. It's all within what's allowed by the government, but it's still
right.
certain amounts that probably aren't great for the human body. And that's where you kind of just start scratching your head going like, oh, maybe I should look into what the standards are. Everybody just kind of puts their faith in these systems. Like, oh yeah, if the government says that it's good.
Right. Well, the government's only as good as the people working for it.
Right. Right.
We're with the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a whole other...
That is a whole other story.
Oh,
we're gonna pivot here. Grant, let's talk about some of the running we've done.
Oh my jeez.
Now you've done a lot more than I have.
So I got to hand it to you.
I've had the pleasure. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this.
I got to hand it to you.
What are you handing to me? I think I know what you're handing, but
So I called you up. I said, Brandon, my running team in Cape Breton needs a runner. You run? Well, yeah, I kind of run. I run, I run to train. I lift weights and I run and try and stay in shape. All right, can you run 15 kilometers? Can you run 15 kilometers on the Cape Breton Trail?
on the Cabot Trail. I've never even been on the Cabot Trail before. Never even been.
That's where it is.
I didn't realize how extreme
Up and down,
it was.
all around. Yeah.
It is extreme terrain.
There's one hill. There's one mountain, because the whole thing is hilly. But there's one mountain that's 6 kilometers up and then like 5 down.
Yeah.
And then you're running flat for another 5. That's one section that's got to be run by one person.
Right. So there's 17 legs, right?
Yes.
17 legs in the Cape Breton Cabot Trail relay. Yeah. And so it's a relay race, and it's almost a 24-hour race, isn't it? It's about a day.
Yeah.
So and then everybody puts a team together, and you have 17 people on that team, and each person is responsible for at least one leg. I think there's been instances where some people have done multiple legs.
Correct.
But everybody's at least responsible for at least one portion, and you pretty well have certain times of the day that you're running, and it's around is it 200 kilometers? 200, 300 kilometers?
265 or something like that.
265, pretty well a big oval. And the terrain is just mind-blowing. There's massive, you're on the edge of a massive cliff at some points. It's like there's some parts that are just straight up and some parts that it is just like, if you haven't been there, it is so hard to explain and so hard to describe it to anybody. It's just something that you would not expect. And it's beautiful too.
People have driven it and said, I'm never going back because they're on the side of a cliff.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple times it's jarring.
Going up Smoky Mountain, and the only thing between you and falling over is your steering wheel, your brake, and a guardrail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so Grant asked me, this was actually right around this time last year, I think.
Probably was.
Right around this time last year. And luckily, I was just coming off a year where I'd ran 3 marathons. And actually one of them was with you, because you and I ran the Bangor Marathon.
Well, no, that was after. Wasn't that after?
No, because the last race I did was the Cape Breton Relay with you. That's the last race I ran.
Oh, that is I thought it was, okay.
So it's about a year ago. So the last race I ran, and then before, so 2025, you and I ran the Cape Breton Relay. 2024, we ran Bangor, I believe.
Okay, so that was when... the reason we ran Bangor is because I was a little upset at my Fredericton race.
Right.
In the spring.
Right. Because there was a little bit of a glitch with the tracking, wasn't there? Was that the one where there was a glitch with the tracking or something? There was a certain point, half the group had to go around a pylon, the other...
So, yeah.
Is this what I'm thinking?
Yeah, the Fredericton race I was pacing it. I was pacing the first half of the full marathon. And then my best bud was pacing the second half. And the Fredericton race is a double loop, okay? And you go out, follow the loop out to a point, and at the pylon you got to turn around and come back, and there's your first half, which is actually, but it's 2 loops. Let me back up. But one's longer than the other. The first half of the marathon is an actual half marathon, so that people who want to run a half marathon are done.
Yes. Yeah.
Once they cross the finish line after doing a loop.
Yeah.
The full marathoners continue on past the finish line and do the loop again, but they have to go out past that pylon further in order to get 42 kilometers.
Right. It's like 42.6 or something, isn't it?
Something like, yeah.
That last 0.6 just
my point is there's some kind of variation in the loops.
Yeah, they extend that.
There's
like
a variation
in
the loops.
Yeah.
So when I was pacing the first half, the person who was supposed to drop the pylon down and say, this is the turn point, wasn't out of bed. So we didn't know. So we just kept running thinking, well, they must have changed the course this year a little bit. The turnaround must be up further up the path.
Right, yeah.
And we got all the way to the second turnaround, where normally the second turnaround point was. And we added like 2.5 kilometers, 3 kilometers, whatever it was, to our loop by doing so.
And that's insanity for anybody running. Like that's a lot of extra running to do.
Yeah, once people hit the 21.1 kilometer mark on their watch, and they were like, "We're supposed to be at the finish line at this point. What's going on?" Some of them were just so angry they just shut their watch off and said, "There, I'm done," and they walked the rest of the way.
Right.
Which is, I don't blame them.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, when you look at the difference between a marathon and an ultra marathon, so if somebody runs a 50-kilometer race, they call that an ultra marathon. Yeah. And it's an extra 7 kilometers. It's an extra 8 kilometers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you add an extra 2, like you're almost putting it into like an ultra marathon category. Like that's the extreme of just a couple extra kilometers in that total. I guess is what I'm saying.
I can remember
adding an extra 2 onto 42 might not seem like a lot, but that's a lot when you've already gone that duration.
Correct. Now, I can remember. So we turned around at the second turn point, and we're doubling back, and now we see somebody dropping the cone where we were supposed to turn around, and we're like,
yeah, because it got fixed by the time I got there. I think it was fixed by the time I got there. You were way ahead of me.
I was pacing the 3.5 hour marathon pace.
Just so quick. You were pacing 3.5.
Yeah, so I was supposed to run the first loop in an hour and 45.
Yeah.
So anyway, we pass.
And that's such a fast time for anybody listening. 3.5 hour marathons. Like that's very impressive.
I didn't make it though. That's why we did.
Right.
I got angry at myself.
Okay.
Because I'm competitive with myself.
Yeah. What was your time on that one?
Like 3.
Still under 4.
40 something.
I want to run one under 4. I'm going to have to because I've always wanted to. So I'm going to have to at some point. I'm going to have to get back after it.
Yeah.
4:15 was my fastest. It was my first one in Moncton. It was that one that was raining. It was the one where it was like really cold. That one was a rough one. And you were like, if you finish this one, like
I think I did 3:46 in that one.
3:46. Yeah, that was I was so close to being under 4, but I walked like the last 2 kilometers. I was destroyed. I've never felt that way before. You go through some crazy highs and lows when you're running these things. You go through some wild emotions, and your brain starts playing tricks on you, going like you're not capable of this. Like you can train and do everything properly, and then there's a certain point you just hit this wall where you're like, for me, it was just my brain eating. It was just saying like negative, like just you're not going to be able to do this. You're not that guy. Like this is not you're not meant for this. And then all of a sudden you fight through that, and I'm going, oh, I'm feeling great. I'm back at it, and I'm kind of laughing, and I start like laughing out loud, and then I get back down into that trench for a second, and I'm like, is this ever crazy?
Yeah,
the wave of emotions you end up going through as you're just running, and it's just nobody can help you.
you go from I don't know how this is going to turn out to I'm doing great.
Right. Right around the half mark.
Oh, I'm floating right along. Oh my times,
right. 12 kilometers left, perfect.
Oh wait, okay. For some reason all of a sudden it's getting tough.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a little walk break here. I'm going to grab some I'm going to refuel. I'm going to get a drink at the aid station or the water station.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good again. All right. Holy cow! I can only run 500 meters.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at 37 kilometers, and we still have 5 to go.
Yeah. And 5 is, 5's an easy run normally if you're just doing 5 kilometers. That's simple.
And then and
you're playing these games.
Why
with yourself
am I
too.
out here?
Yeah.
What did I do to my groin? What did I do to my foot?
Who am I trying to prove this to?
My calf muscle is cramping.
Yeah.
And it's spasmodically moving like,
Yeah. It feels like there's a nail in the bottom of my foot.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like there's a nail in my foot? And I actually took my shoe off at one point and checked.
Yeah.
So I was like, it feels like there's like a nail in my shoe, and I thought there was a twig in there, so I took my shoe off and tried to dump it out. There was one time I actually thought there was blood in my shoe. I was like, it's got to be filled with blood right now.
Yeah, I've been there.
Like it just felt like my foot was like swollen this big.
Yeah.
And
lose your toenail and
then I look
happens.
at it, but it's fine. There was no blood. There was no nothing. Like a lot of times I think it's all, I'm like, geez, my foot probably looks mangled. And it looks fine, but it's got this feeling of being this big.
Yeah.
And it's just so odd.
Yeah.
And your bones, like, I've never felt that amount of pain on my joints before when I first ran. I was like, I can barely walk. I mean, you immediately age yourself about 40 years after a marathon. Like, you're just moving. I was moving like I was 90. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's so rewarding, though, at the same time. It is so rewarding. And then you come across the finish line.
Tim Conway on...
And you come across the finish line with just this huge high.
Yeah.
And even
though you've just ran through the wall or, you've hit the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even though you were just kind of like right down in the dumps moments before.
Yeah.
Like, just almost, I was screaming at the sky in Moncton. I was so upset because I was doing such great time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I have like 3 kilometers left and I could not run it. My body was in so much pain and I was starting to shiver too, which was the worst part. So now I was like I was like shivering and this one guy came by and somebody will come by at some point and like lift your rate up, right? That's the nice thing about it. Somebody will come by, be like, come on, man, you got this.
Yeah.
And they're like, come on, run with me,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden now you got a running buddy when you were completely alone for a second.
Yeah.
But as that person's catching up to you, you're going, no, someone's going to pass me. And then they come and they're like an amazing person sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, come on, we're going to finish this together.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's what I needed in that moment.
You don't know the struggle they were going through to catch you.
Yeah.
And once they caught you, you were their pace bunny in their mind. They said, if I can catch Brandon or whoever that guy is up ahead of me, and they go, I'm just going to run with him because he looks strong enough. He looks like he's running the pace I want to finish at.
Right.
I want to be able to run as strong as him across the line. Here you are struggling away. You don't know all those voices that were telling him this in his own head.
That's true. I've never even thought of that. I've never even thought of that.
So yeah, there's all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So why did we run Bangor? Because I was angry at myself.
Right.
Because I'd done all this training.
Yeah.
And my watch prediction and everything said I should run 3:30 to 3:35 in Fredericton. And that was my goal, was 3:30. And it just didn't work out because you've got 42.2 kilometers for something to go wrong. Well,
yeah, it's a lot of room.
It's not that anything went wrong per se. I just, if you're a legend in your own mind, sometimes you're just not as good as you think you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
And the watch was wrong. And
those are such frustrating moments.
And
too.
so I was frustrated. And there was that turnaround issue.
Yep.
So I called you up on a whim and said, well,
the inaugural.
I had went on the computer and just Googled races near me, and I went North America.
Right, because there's nothing really around.
And there was the inaugural Bangor. The
inaugural
like
Bangor.
4 weeks after Fredericton.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm all trained up for a full. I might as well take a little break and then start right back into it and go to Bangor. Do I want to go by myself? No. Brandon runs. Give him a call.
Yeah.
Maybe he's game.
Yep.
Because he's a nut bar. He'll train 3 weeks and go run a marathon.
Yeah.
Which I gotta admire. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we all have.
It's hard on the body.
We all want to see where our limits are and what we can do.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe Brandon does want to see if he can run a marathon with minimal training. Yes, he's been doing 5Ks and stuff around his house. And yes, he's been lifting weights. Yeah. But you never know what's going through his brain. Give him a call. So I did.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, why not? That was a great trip.
That was a lot of fun.
And we ran in the most, like the biggest downpour of rain.
Yeah, it downpoured. And then it was fairly unorganized too at the end. It was very difficult to figure out where to finish as you came back into the city there.
Yeah, and it was called the inaugural, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that was their saving grace, because their signage in the city, if you didn't know where you were running, you were lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I remember coming back, just being like, where am I supposed to go?
I can remember paying attention to where we started and his explanation as to where the path was, or what path to take on the roads coming in, and where we're going to finish.
Yeah.
I can remember him saying, we're starting up here on this main street, but the finish is way down there.
That threw me off so bad.
By the water.
Yeah.
Whatever river flows through Bangor.
Yeah.
And I can remember coming back into the city from being out in the middle of nowhere outside of Bangor, coming back in the city going, where do I go? Well, just keep going straight until you see, you would think, a sign, an arrow at an intersection.
It seemed like most of the directing people only stayed for the half. Most of them didn't seem to stick around for the full, or if they did, they didn't. Yeah, there was there was something with the people that were supposed to point or the signage or something that just wasn't planned out properly.
Yeah. Well, I came to an intersection where there was it was lights and everything, and I could go straight up a hill, slightly to the right. Yeah. I could take a hard right. I could take a left towards the water, or I could, yeah. So I decided I don't really see anything here. I'm going left towards the water.
Yeah.
I never actually looked at my what my Garmin tracked and compared it to
if that was the actual race.
What the course said I was supposed to run.
Yeah.
But I ended up crossing the finish line at 42.4 or 5.
Yeah, so it was the proper
So
distance.
I think I took the right path.
Yeah. And the thing too, for people listening, a lot of people, like everybody's starting the race together. So you're with a massive group the first few kilometers, and then you start to see the separations happening almost instantly,
people,
right?
And then you're with 5 people.
Right. And then at the end, it's normally, you're normally finishing by yourself.
I ran the second half by myself.
Yeah, because at that point, the distance between everybody's so great. Everybody's at their own pace.
Yeah.
And the chance that somebody's running the exact same pace as you is fairly low. And was the joggler there? Was the joggler there for that one? But he's been in Fredericton, and that's an interesting fella there. Holy smokes. The first time I seen him, I was like, get out. Yeah. Get out of town. This guy's going to run the marathon and juggle the whole time.
I think his name's Mark Goslin. Not sure.
I've seen him around a lot, and he's huge on social media.
Yeah,
no doubt. What an impressive
He can
feat.
run a 3:25, 3:20, 3:15 marathon while juggling. Crazy.
The things people get good at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
Canada's
so it's just levels. There's just so many levels to things too, right? It just shows it's like a lot of people are struggling to get to that time. This guy's doing it while he's juggling.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's some amazing
something to keep his mind
that,
busy, maybe. I wonder if he goes through the same highs and lows as everybody else, or if he's just focused on the juggling the whole time.
He's probably
fairly
more
distracted.
ability he hasn't tapped into when it comes to the actual running.
Right, yeah, because it's like there's energy being used on the juggling.
Right. But, the other thing too is people reach a certain level of ability and they decide that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So they don't push harder.
Right.
I'm trying to overcome that stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's a very healthy thing to do, and I think it's important for us because it's so easy to be comfortable, and it's so easy to go back to, like we were saying, just kind of live off your past highs, right? Oh, I did that. Sitting there and having all these major success stories from the past, but
it doesn't.
It's what it's keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. Yeah. What else can you do? Like how far can that go? And what else can we figure out? And I think once you start to rest on your, what do they say? Rest on your laurels? Is it laurels or morals?
Laurels.
Laurels. Yeah. So I actually don't even understand what that means. I don't know what a laurel is.
It's.
I went to school with a laurel.
What people. Laurels.
It's a weird word, right? So anyway, resting on your laurels, people will do that. And I think the problem is you get complacent when you do that. You start to realize, or you start to just anchor yourself to these past accomplishments without testing to see how much further. And I mean, like some of the fastest runners on the course aren't the young guys, the guys with the best stamina. There was a marathon where I think it was the last one I ran, actually. It's where I kind of went, I'm going to take a little break for a second. But my time was an hour longer than the first one I ran. And there was like a lady that must have been like 69, like 70 years old, shuffled by me in the last like 30 minutes. And I was
You
like,
swore at yourself too, didn't you?
I was like, unbelievable, Brandon. The fact that I can't push myself right now to do that. It was just
you were
soul-crushing.
cursing yourself.
I was but then at the same time too, I went, well, I've already done 4 of them. I'm just going to cross the finish line here and try not to be too hard on myself, and I'll get back after it.
Yeah. So
I felt like I had to
you talk about
go do some work in the shop kind of deal. I need to take this thing back to the shop and make some tweaks.
Yeah. You talk about the different people out there and that you meet and the endurance that some of them have and the stamina some of them have and the speed. I ran Moncton 10 years ago, and I caught this guy, and I said to myself, if I can just keep with him. Mm-hmm. And I started chit-chatting with him along the way. His name is Dan Buckle.
Okay.
I remember his name because his story is quite amazing. He now runs a marathon every year on his birthday, and he runs his age.
Wow.
So he was in his 50s at the time. So he would go and run if he was 50
kilometers,
he'd run 8 kilometers before the full marathon and then line up for the marathon to hit 50 kilometers for the day.
Wow.
He's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him, but I do know that in his 60s he did fulfill his goal.
Wow.
And he ran 60-some kilometers.
Stuff like that is so admiring.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know, I have a major respect for people that continue to push their body into that age, right? Because a lot of people use it as an excuse. Like, oh, you know, I'm too old for that. But then you have other people that don't use it as an excuse, and they're out there performing too. So it's like both of these scenarios exist. Somebody could say I'm too old, but you could also, if you really wanted to, you could go get after it and then push yourself.
Of even on YouTube, of people you can follow.
Yeah.
And they've got osteoporosis and they've been in a horrific car accident or motorcycle accident and their bones are mangled and they've been put back together like the $6 million man.
Right, yeah.
And they're out there 5 years later running the Mojave Desert Race, 200 kilometers.
The Moab or whatever, yeah.
Moab, yeah.
Yeah.
And why are they doing it? Because they want to see if they can.
Right. And then you have, that's one thing that I do love about social media is that you have these amazing examples of things you can anchor yourself to and go, if that person's able to do it, then there's no reason that I can't do it.
Right.
And you can almost find somebody that's you know, your ethnicity now, that's your friggin' shape, that your body shape, your age, and you can find them online that's doing the things that you want to do.
Yep.
And then you can go, if they're doing it, there's no reason that I can't do it, right?
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing about online. And, you know, there's a big part of the reason I started to run was following some people online that inspired me. Guys like, let's say Cameron Haynes, for example. Nick Barr. I actually just watched one of his.
Nick Barr.
It's funny that I haven't watched anything he's done for a long time. Last night he just posted or it was a few days ago, and it was called his Last Dance. It was called Last Dance, and he just did an Ironman. And it was like a Netflix movie. It was a 34-minute video on YouTube.
What is that guy, about 220? 230?
Yeah, he's freaking ripped. I mean, he's got a supplement company too, right? So like he's embodying his whole brand and his whole persona of having a supplement company, a CEO and father and business owner and entrepreneur, and then also he's just phenomenal athlete.
He's documenting his athletic goals and with running a business, which is related.
Right.
The nutritional and being a father and family man. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
And you know, he's documenting it as his business.
Yeah.
That's one aspect of his business.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. That's project management, buddy.
Absolutely it is. And I like that you said it's related too, because it is so true. Like the endurance required to run a marathon and almost the mental stamina that it takes to train, it all applies into business. It's like, these are all things, anytime I'm running, I'm like more patient with life in general, because it's like running is such a frustrating process. It's such a process that beats you down, but you get stronger from it, that everything else becomes a little bit easier because you're putting yourself through so much adversity that everything around that dulls itself down a little bit. The noise of everything that you thought was hard before, the volume gets turned down because your standard is now turned right up.
It changes your perspective for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And then the mental stamina of just running that race. And then it applies to running a business and to staying, how there's highs and lows, right? Like it's not like somebody runs a marathon and they're just friggin' on 10 the whole time going, this feels great. I feel incredible. The entire time I felt amazing. I crossed the finish line. I high-fived everybody. Like that doesn't exist. And that doesn't exist in life. And running them. And I love actually, guys like David Goggin, he says, doing an ultra marathon, like, talk about those Moabs where it's like 250 mile races. Yeah. He goes, you will get a lifetime of experience, a lifetime of knowledge by doing this to yourself. Yeah. You will get a lifetime of knowledge when you're seeing how you push yourself, when your body's completely broken down and does not want to take another step, but you still have miles to go and you're finding that strength somehow inside. That's another interesting part too. It's just like, when you'll hit these walls of like, I don't want to push myself. I don't think I can go anymore. I don't think I can go any faster. I don't think I don't think I have any more, but you find it. Somehow it's in there. Somehow you get across the finish line. Yeah. It's in there. What do you think that's all about?
Well, just like in life, you always have to regroup. When you hit the wall, you got to just go, all right, I got to catch my breath. I got to do this. I got to take in some water, take in some refuel. Right. And I got to get back at it. But I got to get back at it. Yes. That's the whole key.
Right. Get moving again.
That's it.
And actually, you gave me the strategy there for a couple marathons of I think it was run 10, walk 1?
Minutes.
Yeah.
Run 10 minutes, walk a minute.
Right. Run 10 minutes, walk a minute. And the fascinating thing was, I ran one marathon that was 4:30. I think that might have been Bangor, perhaps. Or it was Bangor where I tried the run 10 and walk 1. But I ran that one the same. So I had 2 marathons, where I was just like, I'm going to try to push myself the entire time. Yeah. That was 4:30. And the next one I did, which was very close, in a very close proximity window, so it was similar in abilities. That one there, I ran 10 minutes, walked 1, and I did it in 4:30 as well. But I actually feel like I had a better recovery coming out of that one.
Yeah, you were much better. I still remember you and me after the race. Yeah. Shooting the breeze with the bartender.
Yeah. That was Bangor. Yep.
For about 3 or 4 hours.
Yes, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
And
yeah, there was supposed to be free drinks afterwards.
We were fine.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Versus Moncton or Fredericton, don't talk to me.
Right, just completely beat up.
Just Let me get a shower.
Get me to the car and get me just
yeah.
I got nothing to say.
Give me something intravenously.
Right.
To recover.
And one of my favorite things about running is how much you can eat. One of my favorite things about running is how your body just becomes a processing machine for anything you put in it. Anything, because when you're training for those marathons, you just need anything for fuel. You can go slam a burger and you're not even going to notice it. Yeah. Your body will just process that. All of it turned into pretty well fuel.
Yeah. Well, as you age, it doesn't really work like that. But,
okay.
But you're right. Okay. You need more calories.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to fuel the machine.
Yeah, right? I would always go right down to Big D's Burgers. Supposed to be some of the best burgers in Atlantic Canada. Yeah. And I would get their friggin' triple burger and a big gold poutine with it, and just probably like 2,000 calories immediately after. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, and it all just feels so.
And the cholesterol is just coursing through your veins.
Just coursing through. And then right after that, it's just pretty well, I'm asleep after that. I'll just sleep. It's lovely though, because you've earned it. All of those next 4 or 5 hours or even 2 days of recovery, you've earned it.
Yeah,
you've really earned those days.
My self-indulgent move is like after Cape Breton. I've got a 6 to 8 hour drive home.
Yeah.
I'll get a bucket of chicken from
Yes.
KFC.
Nice. Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Bucket of chicken.
Just all that protein too.
Oh, grease.
Grease and protein.
Oh, love it. Calories.
Exactly.
Salt. There's salt in it because if you can't taste the salt in a KFC piece of chicken, there's something wrong. There's something wrong, man.
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
With your taste buds or the chicken.
Yeah. What? Yeah, exactly. Because they always put salt in it. They load it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. Well, Grant, this has been an amazing conversation here, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I always like talking to you, Brandon.
Absolutely.
You keep it interesting. Tangents, buddy.
Tangents. I know. We were going all over, but you know what? I think we're gonna have some great clips from this, and I'm excited to put this out. Here's the really cool thing about this, and here's why I like doing this. This is all moments in time. I'm going to put this online, and we will be able to look back at this at some point and go, remember that conversation? And then, oh yeah, we ran those marathons together. And it's just these moments in time where you'll have your mindset locked in now, of my mindset locked into this moment that we can always kind of go back on. And I find it fascinating. And, you know, I even watched some of the podcasts from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, let me ask.
And then I'm going, it's interesting how I responded to that question, because I probably would have had a different response now, but then I was in a different mindset, and I can kind of see how I've grown since some of the last ones too. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Now, you had said all that, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm looking back at this very moment, and I'm thinking, what was if you could rate all your marathons and all your running races, what did you think of Cape Breton compared to all the rest?
Cape Breton was much more of a event for multiple reasons. So I would almost consider it two different things. So marathons are within a very short window. It's kind of get in, show up, you run the race, you get your banana, quick massage, you're going back home. Normally that's kind of like, you're kind of in, kind of out. But with the Cape Breton Relay, there was this kind of show up beforehand, meet the team, everybody get together, make a strategy, on kind of what's going on. So there's this aspect of me walking in and meeting a whole bunch of people that we're all on a team together. And I'm going, okay, so I'm meeting a whole bunch of new team members. That was really cool. That doesn't really happen on a marathon.
No.
So then there was that, but then there's the fact that it's now drawn out over the course of 24 hours of going, okay, who's taking care of this person during that leg? Who's taking care of that person? Right. So now you get this little bit of, there's an administrative burden happening. We had an amazing team leader on ours who kind of had all this stuff planned. So we just kind of showed up, and as long as we did what we were supposed to do, it all worked out. So thank goodness I didn't have to do much of that planning, but it was really cool to show up and go, oh, there's like an administrative thing. We have responsibilities outside of our running. We have responsibilities to make sure that Grant,
you're not
gets
just
to the
running.
leg.
You have responsibilities.
Right. So there's those other responsibilities, which I thought was really cool. Then you have just the aspect of where you're at. The terrain is so much different than anything I've ever experienced. I've never been to Cape Breton before, and it was cool how we would drive through certain peaks and valleys, and the weather systems would be different throughout different times of day. There was we would drive through just thick fog, come around a turn and up a cliff, and now it was all sun and beautiful, but then it's raining on the other side over there. Yeah. And, extremely windy on that side, beautiful over here. So then it was like, okay, there's even different weather systems going on. And then as well, there was way more people I found. So it's, because you have all these different groups of people showing up and all these teams that are each sending a member out per leg. And, so I thought that was an interesting dynamic. It was just a completely different experience. And then afterwards, once you're done, you can kind of have a little bit of fun. Once you're done your leg, you're going, hey, as long as I keep supporting my team and showing up and doing the things I need to do, then the rest of this can kind of be enjoyable. Right. And it was a whole different experience. That's a whole different experience at a marathon.
Right. So you got to realize, if there's 70 teams of 17 people, plus all the organizers and things like that, that's what you get at the finish, which is also the start of the next leg.
Right.
And they're all congregating.
Right,
in
exactly.
the same area.
And then at the very end, everybody greeting everybody too.
Yeah.
So that almost grand finale of a finish as well.
Oh, yeah. In Bedeck.
In Bedeck, right.
That's
and then,
awesome.
And then you come back and they got this amazing dinner set up for you. There was steak and chicken and I'm pretty sure there's chicken, steak and I think it's lobster, steak and lobster.
Steak and lobster.
Yep, steak and lobster. And then you're showing up and now you got everybody in a tent and they're handing out prizes.
Right.
They're talking about the best team, the fastest team. And then you start to realize going, oh, there's certain teams on here that are just here for the competition alone.
That's right.
And
that's
they're
right.
handpicking the best runners that they know.
Yeah.
And some people will get cut this year and other people will
Yeah.
get brought in. And then you have
Yeah.
some of the people that go, we're here for the almost
Atmosphere.
We're
it.
here for the training. We're here for the culture.
Yeah.
We're here for the esprit de corps of each other.
Camaraderie.
The camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of, I think, what our group
Yeah.
was. The red...
We're the Red Souls.
The Red Souls,
So
right.
The
right,
team
Red
is from
Souls.
PEI and the soil is red.
That makes sense, yeah.
So they
yeah.
call themselves the Red Souls.
Oh, it was cool. That was a really cool
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And then just getting to Cape Breton for the first time was really cool. And that's the nice part about running marathons is you're normally traveling around a little bit and you get to appreciate scenery that like you don't realize how many things you drive by on a day-to-day basis, but then when you go to run by them, you have much longer to look at it and you go, hey, I kind of like the siding on that house, or I like, I've never noticed this about this tree, or I've never noticed, you kind of pick up on a lot of different things.
When you become a runner, you all of a sudden realize, I never noticed this street was a hill.
Right. Yeah.
Because I drive it, and I drive it,
Yeah.
and I drive it.
Right. And it might just be a slight incline, and you're not noticing that at all.
Well, a slight incline is a 20-foot wall after you've run 12 kilometers,
right.
20 kilometers,
Right.
depending on your
That's
status
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
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 No, so it was a beautiful experience. It was so fun because I even brought my drone out too because I was like, I want to get some cool footage. I still have awesome footage from Cape Breton that I don't know what to do with yet. I should just share it at some point. But I'm just hanging on to it for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm just hanging on to it.
It's in my electronic photo album.
I actually made a video of the first marathon I ran, and I remember coming home, and a few days later I actually did a video that I've never published either, and I just talked about the process of me kind of going through it, and just like I just made a video of what my perspective was after running my first marathon race, just to hang on to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like just, some part of this is almost self-serving in a way of being able to look back and, possibly when I'm 50, 60, kind of go, I want to pull up some of these videos and just remember these moments here.
Yeah. Yeah. When people look at you and go, I don't believe it. Oh, yeah? Watch this.
Right. Right. And that's just it. And it's so cool to have these conversations and then document it and upload it online and just kind of see where it goes from there. Like I've been able to make relationships with people that I probably, as a real estate agent, anytime you reach out to people, they think you want they're like, oh, he's just talking to me for business, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is a great way for me to remove that going, hey, do you want to do a podcast together? Come in where it's almost from a value proposition now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, I'll send this off to get edited and I'm putting the work in, there's camera gear here. Like there's a reason a lot of people will look at a podcast, go, I could do that. Because they think it's just talking. They think they just sit down. They go, I talk all the time. I could sit down and talk to people.
Yeah.
Most people could do it. The hard part is setting all this stuff up. This is where the roadblock comes in.
And don't forget, you stick one of these in somebody's face and all of a sudden they get a mental block.
Right.
There's that too. People don't understand what goes, like you say, they don't understand what goes into it. They don't understand the psychological aspect of organizing and then sitting down and being able to relax but still be somewhat serious, I guess.
Right.
At times.
Like I've had real estate agents come up to me and say, just want to let you know I'm going to start a podcast. I go, okay.
What's your point?
All right. Like, good luck. And then I'm kind of waiting, looking and going, where's that podcast at? What happened? And then you'll talk to them and it's like, oh, we had issues with our audio and this messed up and that messed up. And then we got busy with other things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah. I went through all that. I went through all those processes. Like I said at the start, the reason I checked the cameras and the audio 15 times is because I've done so many episodes where it wasn't recording. Right. Or where I didn't hit record at the right time, or something happened and something died, and it's just like all these things come up.
Yeah. I get it.
All these kind of bars of entry. But Grant, this has been amazing, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
You can have me on any time because I'll sit and drink coffee and talk to you, no problem.
I don't know if anybody's watching at this point still. We're 2 hours in, but just so that everybody knows, when Grant and I are talking on the side, conversations can get very spicy. And I was trying to, I think we were both keeping each other on the tracks today.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do. I mean, the tangents are like a spider web.
Yeah. But that's the cool part about free-flowing conversation. And, that's sometimes I'll share clips and people go, oh, what are you sharing stuff about that for? It's like, well, this is just long-form conversation. Yeah. And here's another thing is, I find a lot of real estate agents will hide behind a sign. You don't know who they are. When I first got into real estate, I was like, I don't know how to figure out these people's personalities unless you actually call them, sit down in front of them. But at that time, now it's a business transaction, right? It's like I've started wanting to do this so that it's like I can put myself out there so that people can figure out if I'm their cup of tea or not. Let me just throw it all out there. Put it all on the line. Put it all on the line. And the cool part is it filters out the people that don't want to work with me, but the people that call me, they know exactly who I am before they call, which is interesting. Yeah. And that's how I get most of my business now, is from people calling me going, I've seen you online. I've been following your story for a while. I like the way that you do business. I want to do business with you. Right.
Well, that's good. And personally, because I know you, I think you're being authentic at this point, just by what you said. And I appreciate that. Like, remember what we said before? There's a lot of fake people on Facebook, showing you what they want you to see.
Right. And it gets a little exhausting, I find. And I hope we slowly get away from that, of this fully
If
polished.
we ever get on that topic, it could get really spicy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this fully polished, like, real estate agent, like in a shirt and tie, in a beautiful house, like, call me. Everything's call me.
Yeah.
And then, so my model's been, how can I find ways to give value and also just put myself out there?
So I can go around bragging that I was on the Port City podcast.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
I like it.
That's right. And we're over 30 episodes in now, which is wild. There's a stat that the majority, it's like 95% of podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm on 30 something.
That's called persistence, just like running a marathon.
That's it. And it's just, And just like running a marathon, there's times where I'm running and there's times where I'm walking.
Yeah.
And there's
times
highs
where I'm
and lows.
flying high, and there's times where I'm like,
and there's times where I'm just at the water station having a sip, and I'm going, I need a little break for a minute.
Yeah.
But so for me, some people have looked and been like, hey, you're not consistent all the time, but it's like, I want to be consistent over the long term. And sometimes that, comes with a little break here or there.
Yeah.
But
And like with my business, the only thing I've tried to be consistent with is provide you timely results, be honest, and point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. That's all we can do most times. That's all we can do.
Yeah. All right, man.
Right on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.